Many of us have visited museums, but how many of us know exactly what it takes to bring those ancient pieces to the public eye? In this episode, the Astana Times is going to visit the National Museum of Kazakhstan to meet with scientists, archaeologists, and restorers, people who make their contribution into preserving our shared history.
There is something satisfying about wandering through the cool and silent museum halls, but behind the scenes there is an equally interesting noise, bustle, and distinctive scent of ongoing work. Our first stop is Anthropology Lab. Here, scientists study human remains found across Kazakhstan. They reveal how people lived, what they looked like, and even diseases they struggled with.
My main job is to study post-archaeological excavation skeletons, identify diseases, pathologies, and variations, and provide information about how people lived at that time.
Before us lay the collection of bones from the early Iron Age, donated to the museum by renowned Kazakh anthropologist Orazak Smagulov. The remains were excavated from the Zivakinsky burial ground.
Here are the bones of a young child. How can we see it? The vertebrae in the spine are not fully fused. Their fusion occurs between the ages of 18 and 25. Then the spine of an adult has no bumps. That area is a flat surface. This happens when a person walks, lifts heavy objects. There is a lot of stress, so the vertebrae rub against each other.
Recalling the most remarkable discovery she has studied, Kasamkhanova remembers the remains of a woman from medieval times who died while pregnant.
These remains date back to the medieval period and are remarkably well preserved. They belong to a woman who was carrying a 6-7-month-old fetus. The fetal cartilage was extremely delicate, and many of the baby's bones hadn't yet fully formed. There were no complete vertebral bodies, only the lower part, and the skull was still in the early stages of development.
By analyzing skeletal remains, anthropologists can identify traces of diseases that affected past populations. In one case, Kasamkhanova examined bones that showed clear signs of cancer.
There is a possible sign of cancer here, but even if it's not, these are the last lumbar vertebrae, which normally support each other like the arms of an octopus. The 3 vertebrae may have been damaged by trauma. However, based on this abnormal growth, cancer is a strong possibility. The individual's posture suggests a severe forward bend. And while there are other indicators, this is the most striking one. If it is a cancer, it has likely spread. For instance, here in the fibular, you can see a noticeable bump, whereas the same bone on the other side shows no such growth.
Next, we are joining an archaeologist who studies materials from the ancient Saka period. Each piece of pottery, each piece of ancient tool tells a part of the bigger story.
Danyar Dusenbay is an archaeologist with over 15 years of experience. His primary research focus is on early Iron Age settlements. They are marked by the flourishing of Saka-era communities in the now central Kazakhstan territory.
According to a more Eurocentric perspective, which still prevails at times, the Sakas are often described as purely nomadic, with claims that they had no permanent dwellings and didn't live in stone or thatched houses. However, our scientific research demonstrates that they were a local population with a semi-nomadic, semi-sedentary lifestyle. In addition to archaeological excavations, we conduct interdisciplinary studies to support this view.
In his hands, the ancient artifacts, including pottery, start to take shape. But before that, they are carefully drawn to capture every detail.
What's most important in archaeology? It is accurately drawing the object, creating a detailed illustration. For example, this is an early Iron Age dagger made of iron and steel, discovered in central Kazakhstan. If you look at it, the animal-style motifs aren't clearly visible in a photo. That's why we rely on drawings to capture the details. We have a dedicated artist for this. As you can see here, the 2 animal heads are facing each other.
Archaeological findings provide undeniable evidence that agriculture existed in what is now Kazakhstan as early as the Bronze Age.
See these sickles. They are a clear evidence that agriculture existed during the Bronze Age. You can see them very well here. They are really well preserved. Look at this. They would pour molten bronze through this opening, close it up like this, and out would come the sickle. If they were making bronze sickles, it means they were planting and harvesting crops.
Finally, we are stepping into the world of art restoration. These works require care, patience, and expert knowledge to do the job.
Restorers work for the most part alone in quiet laboratories with beautiful and valuable objects for the company. They are also the guards of the longevity and integrity of pieces that carry deep meaning for the nation, be it a painting or a piece of textile. For Kuralaito Legenova, restoration is a powerful tool that brings back the immense historical, artistic, and cultural significance of the objects in the museum.
Relics are brought to our museum from all over the country. This includes donations from prominent individuals as well as objects excavated during archaeological excavations. Of course, the items do not become part of the museum's collection right away. First, a commission is formed to study their history and discuss them at a council.
One of the innate difficulties of restoring the artifacts is not to overdo it.
We bring it to the exhibitional view, but in most cases we don't alter the ancient works, which are often of archaeological value. We simply reconstruct the original appearance.